how narcissists ruin your life, and how to protect yourself. They start out magnetic, charming, confident, maybe even intoxicating. But slowly, something shifts. Your peace fades, your self-trust weakens, and your world, once clear, starts to blur under emotional fog. Have you ever felt like someone was draining your light, but you couldn't quite explain how? This isn't just toxic behavior. It might be narcissistic abuse. In this voice essay, we're diving into something real, something many people go through in silence. You'll learn how narcissists erode your emotional, financial, and even physical well-being, the signs you might be overlooking or doubting in yourself, and most importantly, how to protect yourself and rebuild. Let's begin with one of the most overlooked areas of narcissistic damage: your finances. Have you ever found yourself struggling with money and couldn't quite trace how it got that way? Narcissists often damage more than just your heart. They dismantle your financial foundation. At first, they may seem generous, flashy, maybe even romantic, surprising you with trips or gifts. But pay attention to who's really paying. Over time, many narcissists begin to spend recklessly, especially with your money, push for shared accounts, but keep control to themselves, create guilt around money. Why are you so stingy? Or don't you trust me? Sabotage your career subtly, undermining your confidence, distracting you, or making you choose them over your goals. And when the dust settles, you're often left with debt, no safety net, and no support. So how do you protect yourself? Here's the truth. You have more power than you think. Protect your finances like your future depends on it, because it does. Keep independent accounts. Track all spending, especially in shared financial spaces. Document everything. Educate yourself on financial basics. Don't let confusion be your vulnerability. If they ask, "Why don't you trust me?" remember, trust isn't blind. It's earned. And real partners welcome transparency. Money is not just dollars. It's stability, freedom, options. Don't let anyone compromise yours. Now, take a breath and ask yourself, have you ever handed over financial control to someone who used it against you? If so, you're not alone and you're not powerless. This is just the first layer. In the next chapter, we'll explore how narcissists dismantle your emotional clarity and how to reclaim it piece by piece. Stay with me, because awareness is how you begin to take it all back. Have you ever started to question your own feelings? Wondered if you were too sensitive, too dramatic, or just imagining things? That's not just insecurity. It could be emotional erosion. Narcissists are masters of subtle invalidation. They chip away at your inner compass, quietly, consistently, until you stop trusting your own truth. It starts small. You bring up something that hurt you, and they say, "You're overreacting. That didn't happen like that. You always make everything about you." Sound familiar? Over time, these phrases stack up, and suddenly, you're apologizing for your emotions. You're second-guessing your gut. You're wondering if maybe you're the problem. That's gaslighting. That's control. And it's not your fault. This is how narcissists win emotional power. They don't need to shout. They just need you to doubt yourself. So you rely on them to define what's real. But here's the truth. Your instincts are not flawed. They're signals. And here's how to protect them. Trust your initial emotional responses. That discomfort you feel, it's wisdom. Document conversations. When someone twists the past, clarity becomes your armor. Minimize solo interactions during conflict. If they thrive in private manipulation, bring in neutral witnesses or delay the conversation. Ask yourself, when was the last time you abandoned your own truth to keep someone else comfortable? That pause in your chest when you recall it, that's your inner voice returning. Let's speak louder this time. Now let's talk about what often goes unseen, the toll on your body and mind. Living under constant emotional tension does more than make you sad. It rewires your nervous system. Have you been sleeping less, gaining, or losing weight for no clear reason? Feeling like your energy is gone, but your mind won't stop racing? This isn't random. Chronic stress from narcissistic abuse can lead to insomnia from hypervigilance, headaches from mental overload, appetite changes from emotional suppression, and even anxiety or depression from ongoing invalidation. Narcissists don't just take up emotional space. They occupy your thoughts, your energy, your nervous system. But your body is wiser than you know. It's telling you something's not right. So, how do you reclaim your health? Prioritize sleep like it's survival, because it is. Eat to fuel, not to numb. Move your body, walk, stretch, dance, release tension. And if possible, seek professional help from a therapist, doctor, or support group. This isn't about being strong enough. It's about getting the support you deserve. And if anyone ever made you feel weak for needing help, remember, real strength is asking before you break. So ask yourself, is your body carrying pain your voice never got to express? You don't have to carry it alone anymore. Your healing starts the moment you decide, my well-being matters more than their comfort. And it does. In the next chapter, we'll look at how narcissists isolate you from your reality and how to rebuild a circle that protects, not drains. Stay with me. You're not falling apart. You're waking up. Have you noticed your circle getting smaller, slowly, quietly? Since they came into your life, you used to laugh with friends, check in with family, feel rooted in a network of support. But now you hesitate to reach out. You feel misunderstood, even judged. Or maybe they've started turning people against you, planting seeds of doubt, twisting stories, making you look unstable. That's not a coincidence. That's a tactic. Narcissists often use triangulation, bringing in third parties to stir confusion, rivalry, or jealousy. Or they run smear campaigns behind your back, painting themselves as a victim while framing you as dramatic or toxic. The goal? To isolate you, because when you're isolated, you're easier to control. No one to validate your truth, no one to warn you, no one to help you leave. And sometimes it's not even blatant. They just keep you busy with drama, chaos, emotional fires to put out until you're too exhausted to maintain real relationships. So, how do you protect yourself? Keep your trusted connections strong. Even one safe person can be a lifeline. Share your experience with someone who can hold it without judgment. Seek external perspectives. Therapists, support groups, even online communities can reflect back what's really happening. Ask yourself, who did you stop calling because they didn't understand? Or because someone convinced you they were against you? Revisit those bonds. Your real ones are waiting. And the people who truly love you, they'll see through the lies. Give them that chance. Your voice doesn't need to be louder. It just needs to be heard by the right ears. Now let's talk about something most people don't connect to narcissistic abuse. Your future. Have your dreams stalled out? Have your passions faded? Do you feel stuck, like you can't move forward, and you're not sure why? Narcissists are disruptors. They thrive on chaos, distraction, and control. And that control often shows up in your growth, or the lack of it. You might have started a project you were excited about, only to be pulled into a whirlwind of arguments or emotional breakdowns. You might have planned to go back to school, switch jobs, take a leap, until they subtly mocked it, discouraged it, or demanded your time instead. They don't always say, don't do it. Sometimes they just create enough confusion, guilt, or emotional labor that you lose track of your momentum. But here's the thing. Your ambitions matter. Your development matters. Your career is not selfish. It's sacred. So, how do you reclaim it? Set clear personal and career milestones. Break big dreams into small, consistent goals. Maintain routines that prioritize your growth. Write, study, create, build. Block out relational distractions. Not every argument deserves your energy. Not every text needs a reply. You get one life. Don't let someone's chaos become the reason your purpose stays on hold. Ask yourself, what part of your life did you put on pause to manage someone else's instability? It's time to press play again. Your future doesn't belong to their fear. It belongs to your clarity, your action, and your voice. And you don't need permission to move forward. Only commitment to yourself. Keep going. The next chapter is about reclaiming emotional safety and identity. You're not just surviving anymore. You're rebuilding. Stronger, clearer, free. Have you ever felt like you were emotionally imprisoned in a relationship that started like a dream, but slowly became a nightmare? This is what narcissistic abuse feels like: emotional incarceration, a cycle of idealization, devaluation, and discard that wears you down until you forget what peace even feels like. At first, they put you on a pedestal, make you feel special, chosen, irreplaceable. That's the idealization phase. You're flooded with praise, attention, promises. It feels like magic, but then something shifts. You start getting criticized for small things. You're blamed for their mood swings. They withhold affection, act distant, or compare you to others. That's the devaluation phase. You're left questioning your worth, chasing the validation you once had. And then they disappear, emotionally or literally. That's the discard. They ghost you, replace you, or emotionally freeze you out, leaving you confused, devastated, craving closure. But just when you start to heal, they come back with an apology, a memory, a promise, and the cycle starts again. This pattern isn't love. It's psychological warfare. And the longer you stay, the more you forget what calm feels like, what safety feels like, what you feel like. So how do you protect yourself? Recognize the cycle. Once you name it, you're not as easily pulled into it. Use no contact or low contact if needed. It's not cruelty, it's clarity. Reconnect with what energizes you. Music, nature, friends, journaling, goals. Start building the world outside their emotional trap. Ask yourself, have you been waiting for them to go back to who they were in the beginning? Because that person wasn't real. But you still are, and you deserve more than surviving. You deserve to feel free. Now here's the most subtle, but most devastating cost of narcissistic abuse. You lose yourself. You stop recognizing your own voice. You question your instincts. You doubt your decisions, silence your feelings, second-guess your worth. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens slowly, through manipulation, criticism disguised as honesty, and a constant need to manage their moods instead of your own needs. You start saying, maybe I am too sensitive. You stop doing the things you loved because they weren't useful or were mocked. You stop reaching out to friends because it always caused a fight. And eventually you stop dreaming. That's not you changing. That's you being erased. But here's the truth. You're still there. Underneath the anxiety, the numbness, the indecision, you're still in there waiting to be remembered. So how do you protect and rebuild? Rediscover lost parts of yourself. Revisit old hobbies, music, books, people, things that remind you of you. Rebuild your belief system. What do you value? What do you want? Consider therapy or support groups. They help mirror your reality back to you when it's been distorted for too long. Ask yourself, what part of yourself did you let go of just to keep the peace? And what would it feel like to reclaim it today? You don't owe anyone a smaller version of yourself, especially not someone who fears your power, your joy, or your freedom. You are not what they said about you. You are what you choose to reclaim. And the process of coming home to yourself, that's the greatest comeback of all. Have you ever wondered why, even after leaving a narcissist, you still feel the weight of their presence? It's not in your head. It's not weakness. It's trauma, real, lasting, and sometimes deeply rooted in your nervous system. Emotional abuse from a narcissist doesn't just leave emotional bruises. It can leave psychological scars. You might find yourself experiencing PTSD-like symptoms, flashbacks from fights that ended with blame and confusion, sudden fear from a tone of voice or a text message, feeling emotionally numb, like you're watching life from behind a glass wall, constantly scanning the room for signs of danger, even when you're safe. This is hypervigilance. This is emotional numbing. This is the aftermath of manipulation, gaslighting, and chronic invalidation. And yet, because the abuse wasn't physical, many survivors feel guilty for feeling broken. But trauma doesn't need bruises to be real. What matters is that your body and mind were overwhelmed in silence, and now they're still trying to protect you. So, how do you begin to protect and heal? Acknowledge the trauma. Denial only buries it deeper. Name it so you can face it. Pursue trauma-informed therapy. A therapist who understands emotional abuse can help rewire those survival responses. Find support groups or survivor communities. Sometimes just hearing you're not crazy, you're not alone can change everything. Ask yourself, do you still flinch at messages? Do you feel on edge even in peace? That's not weakness. That's evidence you endured more than most people ever will. And you survived. But surviving isn't the end of your story. Healing is. Let's take a moment to pull it all together. If you've been in a relationship with a narcissist, or trying to recover from one, there's something really important to understand. You need a strategy, not just emotionally, but in every area of your life. So let's break it down. First, your finances. This is where a lot of people get caught off guard. A narcissist might borrow, overspend, or completely drain shared accounts without a second thought. So, if you can, keep your own bank account. Monitor anything shared. Document everything. Financial independence isn't just about money. It's about power and safety. Next, emotions. Gaslighting is real. One day you're confident, and the next you're questioning your own reality. That's why it's so important to trust your gut and keep notes if you need to. Writing things down can be a lifeline when they try to twist the story. Health? Yeah, it matters more than you think. Chronic stress from this kind of relationship can wreck your sleep, your appetite, even your immune system. So take care of yourself, rest, eat well, move your body, and if you can, talk to a therapist. Your body needs healing, too. Let's talk about relationships. Narcissists love to isolate you, to make you feel like they're the only one who understands you. So please, stay connected to friends, family, anyone who reminds you who you are outside of chaos. Find those safe people and hold on to them. Your growth? Don't put that on pause. When you're constantly managing someone else's drama, your own goals get buried. Start small if you need to. Set a personal goal, a career milestone, something that belongs only to you. You deserve to grow beyond them. Boundaries. This is where it gets hard, but also where it gets powerful. Learn to say no, or that doesn't work for me, or even I'm going no contact. It's not about punishing them. It's about protecting you. And finally, healing. This isn't a quick fix. This is a journey, but it's one you don't have to walk alone. Therapy, support groups, online communities. Lean on them. Let them remind you that healing is not just possible. It's already begun. Every one of these steps, whether it's managing your money, protecting your peace, or rediscovering your goals, is a step back toward your power. You don't have to be perfect at it. Just be consistent. Because every boundary you hold, every act of self-care, every time you say no more, that's you choosing yourself. And that choice, it changes everything. Conclusion. Narcissists don't just take. They chip away. At your money, your confidence, your health, your career, your friendships, even your identity. But once you see the pattern, you can stop the damage. And once you reclaim your power, you take back your life. You can recover your mind. You can heal your heart. You can rebuild your future. The scars may not disappear overnight, but every day you step away from manipulation is a day closer to freedom. Let's talk about it. Have you recognized any of these impacts in your own life? Your voice, your story, it might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. Drop it in the comments. And if you're looking for more clarity, tools, and strength for your healing journey, subscribe. We're here to grow with you. Because healing isn't just possible, it's yours to claim.